Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm gonna show you one of my favorite Sicilians, and inside this favorite Sicilian one of my favorite variations, which is not that great for white but still played quite a lot of time against me, and I will show you how it goes. So the game started off as a 4-knight Sicilian. At this point white has a couple of options. One of the most popular moves is knight d to b5, which is very fine, and also after bishop c5, the so-called cobra variation, it is also very fine to jump there to d6, give a check. It is also very fine to go bishop to f4, threaten the fork on c7. But knight d6 is fine, forcing my king to move because I don't want to give up this good dark square bishop. So king e7 is the move, and now the big main line is bishop to f4, after which we kick the bishop, we get a check, and the theory starts after a bishop to g5. However, there is also this alternative of taking on c8, but I really don't like it for white, as black has a lot of activity. Black has basically 4 pieces developed while white just has 1 knight in the game. And this feels very comfortable to me, and there are some very nice plans, some nice traps, and I want to show you some ideas which I really like. So let's have a look at the game. Usually everybody played bishop d3 against me. I played queen c7 and they all castled, and now comes the very nice and a bit surprising move, h5. The idea is basically very simple. I want to jump knight to g4, threaten checkmate on h2, and it's not so easy to cover as, for example, after h3 I can jump anyway, because once the knight is taken I threaten mate on h2 again. And also you can never put your pawn on g3, as it can just be taken as the f2 pawn is pinned. So those things, they are just not working for white, and white is basically lost here already, even though if he tries to run with the king, there is no hope, as we keep the white king in the kill zone. He cannot run away, and checkmate is coming very, very soon. So h3 is already a big blunder. You should keep that in mind. And also g3 is not so nice to play. It's not a blunder, but it allows us to open the h file, which would make me quite happy, I think. Black is doing great here as well. So in general, you don't want to play h3, of course, and also not g3, but what else? And the move which I think is best is bishop to g5. Just saying this knight won't jump anywhere because it's pinned. But we will see it in another game how I plan to react there. In this game my opponent played queen to e2, and this looked very weird to me as it's very slow and it allows me to jump to g4. However, I needed to realize that it's not so easy to break through. I went knight g4 anyway. But now after g3 I cannot play h4 because my g4 knight is hanging. And also I consider such sacrifices, but I thought it's not enough here. I might open something, but it's not enough. For example, king might just sidestep, and my queen is just too far and not really joining the attack. Also maybe bishop to f4 might be a move, but I also like this simple king g2, so that this won't come with a check, or even with a double check, and white can just take with the pawn. So not so easy here. Black is of course doing fine, and I already felt that I'm like in the driver's seat, but it was not that easy. But yeah, I decided to play knight to d4, asking the queen to go back, and then to play rook g8, trying to fight for some space on the king side. Play g5. After g5 I might put my knight back to e5, and then I might push the pawns, maybe h4, maybe g4. Okay, let's see how it went. King g2 played, g5 played, Again, a very funny concept here is that the king is just perfectly safe on e7. The center is closed and white is not getting close with his pieces there. He played h3, kind of weakening his king a bit. Maybe it would have been better to try to just develop or try to harass my bishop, which I don't really want to give up. But after f3, knight e5, bishop e3, I managed to trade the bishop for the bishop. And my knights, they are sitting there quite comfortably. And I'm also ready to push h4 very, very soon, after which I open some files, as pushing g4 kind of leaves the f4 square vulnerable forever. And all the pawns would be on light squares, which is not a great combination with light square bishop. So he played bishop e2. Now things are very concrete, and I was happy that this all works for me, that my queen has a safe spot on d6, because otherwise the knight on d4 would just be lost, but it is not. And now at some point I'm getting ready to push h4. c3, takes, queen c6, hitting the knight, and after b3, h4. Again, white's king is in more danger. I'm getting ready to open the h file, unless white plays g4, which he actually did in the game, but this really gives me this great square on f4 for my knight, and it takes a lot of time till the white knight will be able to challenge my knight there, so black is a lot better there. But again, it's not so easy to suggest something better here. Yes, maybe also g4 is an idea, and all the lines would open up here. So g4 played, knight came into f4, and now I play rook c8. Again, preventing the knight from rerouting, because c3 would drop, and also I'm kind of introducing the idea of playing b5, after which the knight must go away. So my opponent played c4, but now after queen c7, I threatened some discovery against his queen and king. For example, knight d5 check would win the queen now, so he sidestepped with the king, and now I try to open the position, get in my heavy pieces on the other side of the board. He played knight b6, I played rook d8, and after c5 d6, I managed to open the position. If he wouldn't go c5, it might be a bit harder for me, but still I think my knight is much better than his. h3 is an eternal target, whereas the knight on b6 just attacks d7, but it's not so easy to attack d7 that often. Also, in the worst case, I can just go d6 if there is real danger on d7. Okay, let's see the game. After c5 I went d6, takes, and here basically the position is already lost. Black is having a double threat, which he kind of had overlooked. I'm not only threatening the knight, but also threaten to enter with rook to d3 and then take everything on the king side. And after rook h3 check king g1, it would even be mate. After knight e2, queen e2, and queen to h2 mate. So here my opponent basically blundered, but you cannot really call it a blunder, as rook d3 would have won the game anyway, but he just dropped his knight and resigned. So even though he defended against the direct attack, I still like this concept of keeping the king in the center, attacking on the dark squares, attacking on the flank. When the center is very stable, he cannot really open it up. And I really enjoy this position with black, because this lead in development, it gives so easy play, and this h5 is a crucial move and a crucial idea to really get the attack going. So keep in mind, not always you need to put your king to the side. Sometimes it's good enough in the center, and you even gain some big pluses by not moving the king to the side, because you're able to start your pawns rolling there. So I hope I could give you some insights, some inspiration for the opening. Maybe you try this line out yourself. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, also feel free to ask them in the comments. So see you next time.